Thank you for holding this hearing about a national security consequence of the worst mass migration crisis ever to have stricken America. The consequences is the threat of terrorist entry over that border. And evidence demonstrates the mass migration crisis has elevated that threat, as I'll explain. After 9/11, DHS developed border counterterrorism programs that did prevent terrorist infiltration into the United States. A threat, by the way, that the 9/11 Commission expressly warned about. Programs established in 2004, perhaps aided by sheer luck, have thwarted numerous border crossers for 20 years, as I documented in my book, America's Covert Border War. The sole illegal entrant who has carried out an attack since 9/11 was a Somali who sympathized with ISIS and crossed illegally at San Jacinto and was released and went on later to strike Edmonton, Alberta, Canada in 2017. But the ongoing border crisis has rendered those counterterrorism programs unviable now. One of the most impactful of those systems directed Border Patrol agents to tag migrants as special interest aliens if they hailed from listed countries where terrorist groups operated. ICE would detain special interest aliens until federal agents could interview and debrief them as part of enhanced security investigations. Derogatory results led to many deportations, which kept Americans safe. A recent CNN report, however, revealed just the latest evidence that this interview program has broken down. DHS went into red alert after discovering a human smuggler tied to ISIS had brought at least a dozen Uzbekistani special interest aliens over the border. They were all quickly freed into the interior like most other illegal immigrants of late without being interviewed. We know this because CNN also reported that U.S. authorities mounted a nationwide manhunt for the Uzbekistanis so that they now could conduct the interviews. This episode is only the latest revealing failures in our border screening systems. If you won't believe me, review the July report of DHS's Office of Inspector General, which detailed how Yuma sector Border Patrol agents accidentally freed a Colombian national on the terror watch list. Authorities found the man in Tampa 2 long weeks after he was accidentally released. Why did this happen? The IG blamed the mass migration chaos for the aliens' release. The Yuma agents let him go because they, and I quote, were busy processing an increased flow of migrants. And because, quote, the increase in Yuma apprehensions had created pressures to quickly process migrants and decrease the time available to review each file, end quote. Expect those screening programs to be degraded indefinitely because vast numbers of special interest aliens are currently pouring through the Darien Gap between Colombia and Panama. Usually 10,000 migrants or less pass through the gap. In 2023, however, 300,000 plus have gone through the gap, and whereas only 3,000 or 4,000 special interest aliens among them reached our southern border annually, the Daily Caller just reported that 75,000 came in just the last 9 months. DHS cannot possibly vet or even interview a fraction of these numbers, raising the terrorism risk. And whereas about 20 aliens on the terror watch list were caught at the southwest border in prior years, since this crisis began in 2021 through the end of July, Border Patrol apprehended an almost implausibly large number of them, 258 as of now. Those watch-listed 258 are just the ones Border Patrol managed to catch. Border Patrol failed to apprehend a record-breaking 1.8 million migrants who slipped into the interior. Mass migration-related system failure is indicated in Mexico, too. In July 2021, Mexico released a watch-listed Yemeni to clear their overcrowded detention centers, and that set off another manhunt. I don't know if he was ever found. The case of a Lebanese Venezuela who crossed from Matamoros to Brownsville in December 2021, who was flagged on the FBI watch list, is another one. Against FBI recommendations to hold the Venezuelan, ICE ordered his release on grounds that he might catch COVID. Last I heard, he was in Detroit pursuing an asylum claim. These incidents above and others described in my written testimony reveal the system is blinking red, so fingers crossed.